And it's amazing when you go through life with this approach, what you really start to see. I mean, people open up to you in ways that you could never possibly have expected, merely because you asked them a question that seemed ambiguous at the time, and then they really start to connect with it, and they really start to dig in deeper, and you're like, wow, I never knew that somebody could think like this. And, I never knew that somebody was this interested in such a subject. It seems like it's rare that people are as interested in understanding as I am, but once I start to talk to them, then I really start to see how wrong that assumption is. If you can only support creators who provide value and make you think, please consider contributing to my Patreon page the next time you watch one of my videos. Hello everybody and welcome. Today I wanted to talk about knowledge. So we kind of live in a world where we expect everybody to have answers. Your teachers are supposed to know all the answers, and they expect you to know all the answers to your test questions. We kind of expect our parents to have all the answers, and their life is supposed to be figured out so that they can help us figure out ours. And whenever somebody fails, it kind of is followed up with a certain amount of judgment from the people around them. How could you fail? You were supposed to know how to do this. You were supposed to have the answers. And it's always been kind of humorous to me that this happens, because as I've gone on through life and continued my learning process, the more I recognize I don't know. There is so much information in the world, and there are so many things that we still don't even know as a society, and there's so many things that we haven't researched yet. It's crazy to me that we think that we have the answers, or that anybody, in fact, can have the answers. So, when I look at the world, and I start talking to people about certain subjects, I often find that when I say something like, well, I don't know, I get some kind of angry responses. And I think part of this is because a lot of people look to me as somebody who has answers too. And in some ways I think that I do, because I can help guide them down paths that are more beneficial to their lives. But to claim that I have all the answers, or that I'm an expert, feels arrogant to me, merely because I know how much I know, and I get hints at how much I don't know, and I always, every time I think about this, feel like the amount I don't know vastly outweighs the amount of stuff I do know. Thankfully for me, I've kind of followed in Socrates' footsteps, where I live my life asking questions more than giving answers, though, which means that I don't need to have the answers then. I get to ask people for answers, and then I get to ask clarifying questions to see what they really mean, and get to an understanding of how their mind works and how the world works in their eyes and things like that. And it's amazing when you go through life with this approach, what you really start to see. I mean, people open up to you in ways that you could never possibly have expected, merely because you asked them a question that seemed ambiguous at the time, and then they really start to connect with it, and they really start to dig in deeper, and you're like, wow, I never knew that somebody could think like this. And, I never knew that somebody was this interested in such a subject. It seems like it's rare that people are as interested in understanding as I am, but once I start to talk to them, then I really start to see how wrong that assumption is. A lot of people spend their lives seeking understanding as well. They just don't have the same training as I do, I suppose. So when it comes to knowledge, I think we all like to have things figured out. We all want to be in equilibrium. We all want to know that tomorrow things will fall into place. We all want to feel like it's not a struggle, that life will eventually become easy, that we don't have to fight for what we want anymore, that it could just come and we don't have to struggle, really. I mean, it's a really nice idea to believe that the world is going to take care of you, that, eventually you will find this thing called knowing, eventually you'll be clear, and eventually you'll reach this point of equilibrium. And I do actually think it's possible to reach this particular state, but I don't actually think it comes through knowledge. I think it comes through trust. And that's where we get kind of messed up. We go around trying to find all of the answers, approaching the world logically, trying to understand everything from a perspective of, does this make sense given what I know of the world? And the further you go along this route, and the more you start to recognize that knowledge can only take you so far, the more you understand that there's a point where you have to stop trying to logic everything out and trust your instinct and trust your gut. It's the thing that's going to guide you where you truly need to go. And once you start trusting your gut and your intuition, then you start to find paths that you didn't even know existed. That's when you start to find the paths that work for you and take you where you want to go, rather than where you end up when you follow the path that somebody else charted before. It seems that we have unique paths, all of us, and that we can't access them logically. That we can't force ourselves to think through all of these problems and come up with answers that are gonna finally, bring our life to the place that we want it to be. We have to reach this place of trust, and this is not easy. I, for one, have spent much of my life trying to find this place of trust, and every now and then I still wonder, is the thing that I want coming? How close is it? When will it come? How can I trust that it will come if it's not here yet? And that's where this whole concept gets a little challenging, because we really want the evidence. We really want to know, we really want to see the result. But you can't know how close something is until it gets here. You can't know when the package is going to be delivered until it's at your door. The whole time that it's out there, you don't actually know where it is. You don't know how close it is, when it's going to come. Sometimes they give you the tracking things, but even those aren't always accurate. And sometimes something gets lost in the mail and you're like, well, where did it go? It was over here and now it's just gone. Like, what happened? So it's interesting that life kind of reflects the mail delivery system, where you put in your order and then you just kind of have to trust that whatever path that order needs to take, it's going to take to get to you. Eventually it will come to your door and you'll be like, oh, there it is. Finally it arrived. I'm so happy. And as somebody who is like an avid Amazon user, I am very familiar with this concept of package delivery. And I've gotten kind of spoiled in that from Amazon you can get this 2-day free shipping thing if you're a Prime member. But I recently put in an order for something that wasn't a guaranteed 2-day delivery system. And I found myself anxious. Like 5 days in, I'm like, well, where is it? Why isn't it, I didn't get the message that it had shipped yet. I didn't get anything saying when it would show up, and I find myself anxious. I'm going, well, where is it? Why isn't it here yet? So, to a certain extent, I have to allow the time for this thing to come to me. But I have gotten so used to a faster system that when something takes longer than I expect it to, I start to wonder if it's coming at all. And I think this is something that happens in my life as well. I've spent over 5 years trying to make a living outside of a typical job. And whenever I don't get it within, 6 months or so, I usually find myself in a state of confusion and misunderstanding, going, well, why isn't it here yet? I've been working at it consistently for so long, I should have some sign that it's on the way. And it's kind of like that mail where I feel like it should be here. I feel like I should have the sign. I feel like I should have the package in my hand already. And yet, I know that that package is going to show up. So why is it that I can't trust that the thing that I want, this mechanism for earning money, is going to come to me as well? That success will come eventually. And it will come on its own time. I can't force it. I can't declare that today is going to be the day. I have to work with the system, and I have to work in the universe, with the constraints of time, and figure out how to trust that things will work out. And that's where some of my recent revelations have been really cool, because I finally recognized a little while ago that I am essentially like a cell in a larger body. If you look at my body and you see all of the trillions of cells that make up this whole being that I am just like one of those cells in a larger entity. So all the cells in my kidney are perfectly happy being a kidney cell. They're not trying to be anything else. So if I'm a kidney cell in the larger body, I just need to relax and know that whatever I need as a kidney cell in the larger body, I will get. Because as easy as it is for me to nourish the cells in my body, the universe can easily nourish the needs of the cells in its body, which include all of us. So letting go of that need for control, letting go that idea that we need to have all of the answers figured out, is probably going to benefit you more than just about anything else. But it is not an easy step, and you really just have to find whatever answer works for you to help you release that anxiety, to release that fear, and to allow life to work for you rather than fighting against it. So, whatever you need to do that, I hope you find your answer, and I wish you luck. It took me some time to find mine, but maybe my answer can be yours as well. If you're a kidney cell, everything that you possibly need is going to come to you. It's inevitable. So, thanks for watching. That's all I have to say today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope that maybe you have a greater understanding of how the world works, possibly. And if you like this video, make sure to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and then feel free to leave comments in the comment section, such as questions, ideas, concepts you wish I'd gone into a little bit more in this video. All those things are completely acceptable. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I will talk to you again soon. Bye.